Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back another video from 6 today. We have got the Sharingan versus the Six Eyes. Now, this is an interesting one. I don't know if it's going to be like in an actual fight or what, but when I look at the Sharingan and the Six Eyes and how they affect their own like kind of verses, I feel like the Six Eyes is more of a like impactful one than the Sharingan, in the way that multiple people have the Sharingan within Naruto. Gojo has the Six Eyes. Do you know what I mean? And him having that Six Eyes gives him such an advantage over everyone else within the verse. Whereas in with the Sharingan, multiple people have multiple Sharingans that do different things. Blah blah blah. It's it's not like someone has the Sharingan and they now can just like completely obliterate the verse by themselves. If you to have the Sharingan versus the Six Eyes, I don't know how that quite goes. It kind of also depends on which Sharingan's being used, I guess, but what techniques they have to fight. But that's not for me to decide. That's for Six to discuss. Let's get into it.
Special eyes exist in a lot of different anime and manga. The Kurta clan Scarlet Eyes, the Uchiha Sharingan, Shinigami Eyes from Death Note, and the newest addition to this trope, Gojo's Six Eyes. Both the Sharingan and Six Eyes are integral parts to the stories they appear in, and due to them being so suited for combat, it's only natural that I compare them to see which is better. For this comparison, I could use a few different metrics, but the most interesting ones are definitely general combat applicability and the importance they hold to the story. Before we get started, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, as I greatly appreciate it. The first thing I'd like to make clear is that the same way every Sharingan user isn't as good as Madara, Obito, Itachi, and Sasuke, every Six Eyes user isn't as good as Satoru Gojo.
Right.
That being said, these are a genetic gift on the side of each family, and I think a comparison between them is only fair if I take the eyes at their maximum use case. For the beginning portion of the video, I'd like to focus on the base 3 Tomo Sharingan, so just keep that in mind as I'm discussing the next part, and I'll bring the Mangekyo into the mix later.
Okay.
Combat applicability is a somewhat broad topic to cover, so let's start with a boost you'd expect to see from a special eye, which is enhanced perception. The Sharingan's enhanced perception comes in different ways, but probably the most popular is its kinetic vision. A user of the 3 Tomo Sharingan can view their opponent's move ahead of time and either set up a counterattack or dodge accordingly. This isn't completely perfect, however. If a Sharingan user is much slower than the person they're fighting, there's the possibility this just won't matter. I will say that the gap in speed has to be pretty large in order for this to happen though. After awakening a larger portion of the Nine-Tails chakra, Sasuke was getting completely overwhelmed by Naruto's speed, but after awakening the 3rd Tomo in his Sharingan, he says he can now see what he couldn't keep up with before.
Yeah, that made one hell of a difference.
Not only can Sasuke now keep up with and track Naruto's movements ahead of time, he's accurately setting up counter strikes that Naruto is running into. The Sharingan does have another edge in its kinetic vision, but this edge comes with a weakness. The Sharingan's kinetic vision works much better if the opponent they're fighting is moving in a linear fashion. Wild, unpredictable movements like how B was moving in his fight with Sasuke don't cancel out the Sharingan, but they don't let it work as effectively.
Yeah, it's just harder to perceive and understand where the moves are going next because it's just so like non-linear.
The Sharingan also has the ability to see through hand signs and see chakra as a color. The latter might not seem too impressive at first, but microscopic bombs that are smaller than cells appeared as a giant cloud to Sasuke because of that ability, and it ended up saving his life in this fight with Deidara.
Oh god, yeah.
The former was pretty impressive earlier in the series, but with hand signs shortening a lot later in the franchise, the need to see through them became less and less important. The Sharingan can also see and discern viruses, shown by Sarada in the fight between Team 7 and Boro. One of the more important and I think slept on abilities of the Sharingan is the ability to see the chakra flow of your opponent and how much chakra they have. This makes bluffing against the Sharingan user 100% impossible, as they can tell if you're lying about how much chakra you have left. Getting to the last of the Sharingan's perceptive abilities, the eyes also allowed the user the power of mimicry. Sasuke was able to copy Lee's taijutsu moves after seeing them only once, and the Uchiha police accused Itachi of being able to copy Shisui's handwriting.
I mean, Kakashi is known as the copy ninja as well, isn't he? So,
And last but not least, the Sharingan is able to see through illusions. This is best displayed in the fights between Itachi and Kurenai and Itachi and Sasuke. Kurenai attempts a genjutsu on Itachi and he sees directly through it and reverses it on her. In Sasuke versus
Itachi completely, she's made up to be like this big illusionist, and then just Itachi's like, nah, and we didn't get her to see her do anything.
They go back and forth at the beginning of the fight, battling with genjutsu,
He's like, nah, that's me.
with
Not
both of
you.
them seeing
That's
through
me.
the other's illusion multiple times. Moving on to the Six Eyes, they are less impressive in some areas of perception and more impressive in others. For example, Gojo is able to see through cursed techniques and what they do with his Six Eyes. This page from the Jump Giga 2022 claims he can see the intricacies of cursed techniques. This might not be too far off as he picks apart Bagman's cursed technique during hidden inventory. The Six Eyes also allow you to see cursed energy extremely clearly, but a good question people had upon knowing Gojo possesses special eyes is, why does he wear a blindfold? The author of the series, Gege Akutami, answered this question in the JJK fanbook, saying even covering his eyes, it's like he has high definition infrared vision. Even objects that have no cursed energy can be made out by remnants of cursed energy or the flow of cursed energy around them. So if he's not covering his eyes, even while he uses reverse curse technique to keep his brain fresh, it's a bit tiring for him. If a normal person wore Gojo sunglasses, it would be completely black and they would be unable to see through them. In terms of actually seeing, this is very impressive. It essentially means that blinding Gojo would never happen. Gojo is also able to perceive the soul, but this is only a special thing within Jujutsu Kaisen. Normal people in Naruto can see souls within that universe, which is confirmed when everyone sees the souls from the Edo Tenseis leaving their body. Unfortunately, as far as perceptive abilities go, this is the end for the Six Eyes, which I think makes it pretty clear that the Sharingan takes this round easily. Not only do they have more perceptive abilities in terms of a number, but they have a higher quality perceptive abilities with their kinetic vision, mimicry, and illusion see-through. The Sharingan can also see chakra similarly to how the Six Eyes see cursed energy, albeit clearly not in as much detail. In the matter of stamina, the Six Eyes completely destroy the Sharingan though. Due to his possession of the eyes, the amount of cursed energy Gojo uses on any given attack is almost zero, so he can never run out of cursed energy. This is to the point it allows Gojo to run reverse curse technique on his brain all day, giving him almost limitless stamina and the curse technique potential to cast over 5 domain expansions in a single day, while constantly spamming his curse technique and the stronger applications of it like blue, red, and even 2 purples, one which was launched at 200%. While most of these techniques are Gojo exclusive developed for his fighting style, I don't want you to think that's what I'm attributing to the Six Eyes. The Six Eyes merely provide Gojo with a stamina boost, and I was listing the attributes of it. The Sharingan does provide the user with some stamina boost, contrary to popular belief. While it is true it takes chakra to keep them active, Sasuke mentions that due to his advanced eyesight, he'd be able to conserve his chakra. Though this is a far cry from the stamina boost provided by the Six Eyes, it is something I have to mention regardless, so we'll give a point to the Six Eyes in terms of stamina. Now to talk about general abilities each eye has. The Sharingan gives you access to multiple techniques that are mainly genjutsu based, which in and of itself is an ability. If I was to name every genjutsu, I'd be here forever, so let's just take a look at some of the more powerful ones. Demonic Illusion, Shackle Stakes. This is the genjutsu that Itachi used on Orochimaru. Anyone caught in the world of the mind created by the caster finds himself tormented by a feeling of having stakes driven into each of his 4 limbs and becomes completely unable to move freely. Since the victim experiences the illusion of physical pain at the same time, this jutsu is very effective for torture. One of the Sharingan's most useful abilities is the Izanagi. This jutsu can effectively be used to delete damage or anything disadvantageous to the user from existence. Using this jutsu, Danzo effectively became immortal against Sasuke for 10 minutes. It does come with the steep price of losing a Sharingan Danzo, who has Hashirama cells, can keep the jutsu active for 1 minute at a time. While it's possible Obito could keep it active for upwards of 5 minutes, but definitely no more than that. Izanami is the other genjutsu activated by the Sharingan, and it basically forces you to be true to yourself and accept your original destiny. It was created as a way to stop Uchiha from using the power of the Izanagi, and just like that jutsu, it comes with the steep price of losing a Sharingan. Considering the only way we know to get rid of the loss of light in these things is to evolve them into a Rinnegan, I'd say 7 out of 10 times these abilities aren't worth using, but they're still abilities nonetheless. The Sharingan also has access to mind control through genjutsu, as Obito was able to keep the 4th Mizukage Yagura under his control for years without anyone noticing. What I'm about to bring up isn't necessarily a 6 eyes ability, but the 6 eyes are required for this ability to be used.
Right, okay.
The Limitless Curse technique is a manipulation of cursed energy done at an atomic level. It requires extremely precise cursed energy control, and therefore can only be done by a person that has the 6 eyes. Not to spark a debate, but there is some controversy surrounding if someone without the 6 eyes can use the Limitless Curse technique, and I'm here to tell you that they cannot. Most people try and get around this by saying that there are other people who can use it, just not as efficiently, but nowhere is that implied on any of the pages that mention the Limitless Curse technique. What's mentioned is that while there are other sorcerers with the possibility of using the technique, the only one who can do it is Gojo because he possesses the 6 eyes. This is because, theoretically, it is possible if someone could have cursed energy control on an atomic level, they should be able to use Limitless. But Sukuna, who is literally the greatest cursed energy user of all time, can't manipulate cursed energy with the same level of efficiency as Gojo's 6 eyes, meaning even he couldn't use the Limitless technique, which he says himself. Another way to cope is saying that it doesn't make sense for the Gojo clan to be relevant if a Limitless user is born once in a while. They shouldn't be one of the big 3 families. This isn't true either, as the 6 eyes is necessary for the fate of Tengen in the Star Plasma Vessel. The clan is literally protected by fate, and that's why they stay as one of the big 3 families, even without a 6 eyes or Limitless user always existing. There is also the fact that even the 6 eyes don't automatically give you the most efficient use of the Limitless Curse technique. Gojo still had to train and learn to use it better. There are also a bit of mistranslations out there concerning this topic, so down below in the description I'll leave a Google Doc link that fully breaks down the original kanji and explains that the Limitless Curse technique is unusable without the 6 eyes.
Right, okay.
This will be the last point of comparison, and you can call it petty if you want, but I see it as a genuine advantage where you can swap out Sharingan to other people if need be, but the 6 eyes don't seem to have the same benefit. The reason I'm saying that is it stated Kenjaku had unalived at least one 6 eyes baby and never went to take his eyes. Even if for some reason he didn't want the Limitless Curse technique, I consider Kenjaku a pretty smart guy.
Yeah,
and him having
he'd be like, that should be quite useful.
Access to eyes that literally reduce the amount of stamina used on any given attack by 99.9% seems like the obvious play.
Yeah.
But it seems like he's never even tried it. Now that we're done with that, we can move on to the Mangekyo Sharingan and explain why it absolutely clears anything the 6 eyes could ever hope to accomplish. The downside to every Mangekyo before obtaining the Eternal variant is eventual blindness, although in some cases other Sharingan deteriorate faster. For example, Kamui, when being spammed by Obito for over 16 years, did not make him go blind, but Sasuke went blind after using his Susanoo and Amaterasu for a full day. I have somewhat of an answer to this, and I think the Susanoo causes more blindness than any of the other Sharingan abilities do. Obito points out this overuse of the Susanoo as the reason Sasuke had gone blind, and it would explain why neither he nor Kakashi ever went blind, and Kakashi only began losing eyesight later on in the war arc. When Sasuke did go blind, it seemed to all hit him at once, and it was directly after evolving his Susanoo to a later stage. And not just any later stage, but the stage we saw Itachi's at during him and Sasuke's fight, where he was also on the verge of blindness. Aside from this, most people attribute Obito's lack of blindness to Hashirama cells, but those have never been stated to have healing powers for your eyes and isn't hinted at anywhere in the series. I'm not saying it can't be true, just that it's not really evidenced by anything in the original manga, and it's also not like it contradicts with anything I'm saying now. So both of these things, that being the Susanoo makes you go blind much faster and Hashirama cells heal your eye, can be true, so it's not too bad to still believe in it as a theory. Aside from that though, I think it's pretty clear that different Mangekyo abilities have different levels of degradation.
Yes.
I don't want to sit here and explain all of the different Mangekyo Sharingan abilities in detail because we all know what they do. Tsukuyomi lets Itachi put you in a genjutsu that messes with your perception of time. Kamui lets Obito phase through things and absorb anything he's touching into the Kamui dimension. Kakashi's Kamui lets him snipe things from a distance and bring them into the Kamui dimension, and it's described as being unable to be evaded. Amaterasu is hot black fire. Kagetsuchi gives Sasuke the ability to control that fire. They're all pretty busted, and when both Sharingan are combined on one person, you unlock the Susanoo, big chakra monster thing that
It's
protects
crazy.
you
Yeah,
and has
yeah,
high
yeah.
attack power. It's all pretty simple. To talk about their importance in the story, I'd like to make it clear this is not a dissection on if Naruto or Jujutsu Kaisen has a better narrative. This is going to be me evaluating how important each eye is to the story
To
they're in,
each
and
individual
on
one.
top
Yeah,
of it
yeah,
all, it's my interpretation of it. I do
yeah.
think I'm a pretty smart
Opinion.
guy, but to say I'm a narrative analysis genius is a bit of a stretch. I simply read or watch things I enjoy and pick up on the things I pick up on and look into what I find interesting. That being said, it's admittedly pretty hard to start a discussion like this. So let's start it this way. Within their individual stories, the Six Eyes is far more special than the Sharingan.
Yeah,
One Six Eyes user can exist
yeah. That's what I was saying at the beginning of this. It's like there's multiple Sharingan users. There's only one person, and that one person having that technique has such an advantage over like nearly everybody.
at any given time, while the Sharingan is gifted to an entire clan. This rarity is one of the reasons Gojo is so special and unique in his universe, which ties in greatly with his character in almost every way. Gojo has been an anomaly all his life, so much so that him existing and merely being born in the world shattered records. But that's not all attributed to the Six Eyes, as both it and the Limitless technique work to do that. While the Six Eyes do grant Gojo the ability to use his technique like I mentioned earlier, the techniques themselves, mainly the neutral Limitless, is one that physically separates him from the rest of life, and as much as I'd like to talk about Gojo's narrative again, Gojo's narrative isn't the Six Eyes narrative, so I don't really think it's fair to do that. I do, however, think it's fair to talk about fate and how the Six Eyes is a part of the glue that brung the story together. It's mentioned in chapter 145 that Tengen, the Star Plasma Vessel, and the Six Eyes are all tied together by fate.
Linked. They are
Kenjaku
linked.
tried to stop this fate on numerous occasions, but always failed to do so. When Toji intervened, however, since he was free from cursed energy, he was able to shatter this destiny and set them all on a different path. The Star Plasma Vessel ceased to exist, Tengen was forced to evolve and stabilize, and Gojo, in order to survive, received a power-up that would curse him to be lonely and misunderstood for the rest of his life. All because of his ties to fate through his eyes, this happened, and it's what literally propelled the story to where it is today. Because of this, Gojo looked into building a strong team of sorcerers that can match him, so no one would have to be lonely like him in his strength. Given how the story literally could not happen without the Six Eyes, or at the very least, the Six Eyes played a pivotal role in starting the story, I'm going to conclude their importance as necessary. To clarify really quickly, I know Gege could have named them the Five Eyes and they could be red and nothing in the story would really change, but I'm talking about what we're given and how it's all tied in. The Sharingan has a few different ways to look at its importance. I think its factor of multiplying hate is pretty integral to how Sasuke and Naruto have separate journeys in Naruto and helping them grow virtually as far apart as possible. It's also a very nice visual indicator of Sasuke's changing mental state. The Sharingan evolves in response to a major emotional reaction, and Sasuke gets his third tomo immediately after learning Naruto viewed him as a part of his original family and that he'd had to sever a bond that was deeper than he originally thought. The Sharingan is also a great way to continue the cycle of hatred, and with it being this hatred-inducing eye, Naruto overcoming the cycle of hatred and the curse of reincarnation that's been going on for over 1,000 years becomes that much more impressive. This is without mentioning one of the previous reincarnations of Indra and Ashura, Madara and Hashirama, had already gone through this problem. Just like with the Six Eyes and Gojo, it's not fair to attribute all of this to the Sharingan, but that's to say that the same way Jujutsu Kaisen was started by the Six Eyes, the Sharingan play a pivotal role in the beginning of Naruto's story and how that story continues. But not only that, it actively adds to the central theme of the story while being a key part in the narrative of at least 4 of its major characters, which is just an inherent advantage of the Sharingan being less rare than the Six Eyes. That being the case, I'd probably conclude that the Sharingan is the better eye overall. The Six Eyes is definitely more special because of its rarity, like I said, but the Sharingan has far better perception abilities, eye abilities, and is overall more important to the story than the Six Eyes seem to be, although the last one is pretty subjective.
Fair enough. Cool. Yeah. So in a fight, the Sharingan pretty much wins. But narratively, yeah, Six Eyes is more of an advantage. Interesting. I'm glad he brought that up as part of a discussion as well, because otherwise my intro was like, oh. Then again, I don't watch these videos before I do reactions. I just go in blind and just see what happens. So that was fun. That was cool. Awesome. Still waiting. I still need to read chapter 253. I really want to know what happens next. But anyway, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video, I want to be able to watch patron-only reactions such as Solo Leveling and the original Dragon Ball anime series, then link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to help support the channel. Greatly appreciate it for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.